Hello, viewers. Hello, viewers. I should have. I. We are keen accent UK. Anyways, you guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel again. This has been like one of the most awaited video, and you guys know that when I come here with a bang. My heart was usual. You understand? Mwawa, you got and everything. So, guys, in today's video. But wait, before we go further into this video, sure to subscribe. Have you hit that subscribe button? Have you show me to blow power that have I follow oh yeah. What just say? Thanks for subscribing. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you know that when I post a video, you'll be like one of the first to get notified. Anyways, today we'll be talking about cheapest cities in UK. As most of you know, UK is one of the most expensive places to live. Even the cheapest city, girl. And one thing I'll tell people is, I'm sure you know already, that you should stop converting, because when you convert, you want to have heart attack. You see the money that they used to do, maybe they are you don't know how much you are paying in Nigeria. Stop converting. But though, what you have some houses that is more costlier than houses in UK. I hope you know that. Those times that I was looking for a house, when I see how much is this thing, when I convert, I was like, even when I was there, I was spend like this. There's some houses that is more costlier than houses in the UK. So depending on this thing. So I'm making this video telling you cheapest cities to look for in UK. But there's actually a difference between cheapest cities to look to live in the UK and then cheapest and safe cities to stay in the UK. Now let's go over it. So the first one on my list is actually Bradford. So in Bradford you can get a 4-bedroom for like £600. £600 for 4-bedroom in Bradford, but there are a lot of Pakistans there, but could mean anything. So the next on my list is Sunderland. So Sunderland, you can actually get an apartment for a 4-bedroom apartment for £700, and that £700 can cover for your rent, your bills, and your food. Rent, bills, food for family of 4. Man, that place is very cheap. £700. So the next on our list is Middlesbrough. Please, I'm so sorry if I'm not pronouncing it right. I'm so sorry. Middlesbrough. So you can get 2-bedroom there for like £350. And then next on our list is South Leeds. In South Leeds, you can get 3-bedroom for like £800. Then the next on our list is Gateshead. In Gateshead, you can actually get 2-bedroom for like £400. Then the next on our list is Gaslow. In Gaslow, you can get 2-bedroom for £500 to £600. So the next cheapest city is Cardiff. So in Cardiff, you can actually get a bedroom, a 1 or 2 bedroom, around £600. In Leicester, you can actually get a 2-bedroom around £500 to £600. In Belfast, you can actually get 2-bedroom around £400. And then in Durham is not so safe. It's not that safe. You can get a 2-bedroom for around £650. And then in Newcastle, you can actually get a 2-bedroom around £650. In Nottingham, you can actually get 2-bedroom for around £700. In Stirling, you can get 2-bedroom for around £500. In Liverpool, you can actually get 2-bedroom for around £700. And then in the other cities, we have like Barnsley. In Barnsley, you can actually get 2-bedroom for like £300 to £400. In South Yorkshire, you can actually get 2 or 3-bedroom, 2, 3 or 4-bedroom for like £400 or £500. And this price is actually per month, of course. I'm sure that most of you from Nigeria, Africa, you probably feel like Nigeria is the worst country ever. Africa is the worst country ever. Before you walk, there is kidnapping, there is this. Yes, there is. There is. But my dear, UK is not a saint as well. UK is not a saint. They used to say, Enitoba, they used to say that thing Yoruba self. Onikaluku is using hand to both see just that UK has more benefits of staying. You have more benefit of staying in UK than in Nigeria. But you see that crime here? If there was no crime, why there are police station? There's one this thing going that there's police station here, and the crime rate in that city is as if they don't have police station. Same way that is happening here, the same way that is happening there. As the saying goes, rain falls everywhere, but then depending on how it actually falls heavily. But somehow I feel like it's falling heavily. But then even as you're going to the UK, don't feel like Nigeria is the worst country ever. But in Japan, my dear, put in my Japan and you Japan. And like I used to tell people, UK police is not for you. It's not for Nigeria. It's not you they are talking to. It's for their citizen. They cannot criticize a UK citizen or a white man because of a black person. I'm sure you know that already. I'm sure you know that. So your best bet is, as you're leaving your country, Nigeria, God have answered your prayer. Just to be a law-abiding citizen. If you know, say in Nigeria, you don't used to go out after 7. When you get there, don't go out after 7 unless you're actually going for your work. If you know that in Nigeria, you don't used to as you are going abroad too, don't don't go and say, oh yeah, UK, everywhere is safe. Oh, sure, you've heard of organ harvester. That one, that's the advanced form of kidnapping. Well, and of course, I'm sure at JSC, the only place that is safe in this world is heaven. Even heaven. From your way to heaven, girl, there is no place that is safe in this world. But of course, like I said, it rains everywhere. So depending on the magnitude of the rain, both rain and but they have this mindset that everywhere is safe, you can stay anywhere. There's some places you cannot stay in the UK. There's some places that you should not even stay as a foreigner. But for somebody like me, and the amount to travel out there, I'll first find out that if it's in Nigeria or bossy, I don't know. I've said it before. If I'm outside the country, if you're in Nigeria, if you say hi to me, I will not answer you. And in fact, I did not see you. In fact, automatically at that moment, I'll become blind. You all know now. For those of you that have stayed outside the country, you already know the deal. So somehow, I don't really like places that there are more Nigerians or Africans. It's just normal preference because you know, when you're in Nigeria, you have many people to talk about gossip. You talk gossip about Yalata, Yakinikon. You will see gist every day. But when you're in UK, you cannot be gossiping about him. But the only thing you say, okay, that one is a racist, and after that, that's it. But because he's blackism comes, what? They will know your history. If you buy, if you go out and buy, if you order this thing too much, it's not order actually. Iṣẹ́ kan náà làkàn lájọ ń ṣe ibo ló ti ra pizza àti ọmọ yẹn kò kí n sí oúnjẹ. Even this one even happened to me when I was living in Nigeria. That time when I was preparing for exam, so I could not eat. So I'm always watching. Hey, wait till I'm ready. So abroad somehow, because you are actually in a limited kind of space. So I'm bringing it to you here. Any place you'll be going, just make sure that you avoid a place that there are a lot of Nigerians. Avoid it. I am saying it. If you like this, dislike this video. When you get there, wait till they tell you. You understand. People don't get there. You understand? So avoid places like there are a lot of Nigerians because it will breed hate, it will breed jealousy, competition, waiting they call on me, envy. List it. So they used to say more so the same way you're planning to leave Nigeria or leave your country, that you do not tell anybody, that you want everything to be secret there. When you get there, just be on your own. There's something like my brother. I'm not saying if you see your fellow Nigerian or fellow African that need the option, you help them. But when you help them, just help them from afar. And that's why when some people come to my comment section, I'll be like, "Why am I charging for the cure? Why can't I give it for them?" So you ought to say, what? I'm sure like I've given you small advice. So some of these cities are actually not so popular and everything, but because you're actually looking for a job, somehow you might not have option, you don't know the distance. But then just imagine because of maybe everybody's looking for work, school and everything. But if it's school, of course you have options. So sometimes these cheap cities, their school is actually cheap, and of course you can actually get work. But sometimes it might actually be depending on job availability. Anyways, I'm making an example for you guys to actually understand properly. And so even if you actually find yourself where there are a lot of Nigerians, a lot of this thing, just behave yourself, because of course you can always migrate, you can always change, you can always everything. So now let me make this example, because sometimes people feel like cheap cities, right, they don't pay well, there's no job opportunity, there's no anything. So now let me use Lagos. God, this is my Nigerian viewers. Now go they enjoy, because I just like using Nigeria as example. For example, let me use Lagos versus Ibadan. Let's say Mr. A actually got admission in University of Lagos, right? And then Mr. B got admission too in University of Ibadan, right? If you had to compare the school fees, Unilag school fees is like 60,000, 55,000 naira to 65,000. That's like $100 per year, right? Whereas University of Ibadan in Ibadan, their tuition fee is like, you be like saying 1,500. They pay tuition. they pay tuition. University of Ibadan should be like maybe I don't have an idea, maybe like 25,000. But I know it's not up to $20, right? Both of them, whether Mr. A is studying his or her dream course, or Mr. B is not studying, so they shall got admission and everything. So using both of them as case study, school fees, which one is cheaper? But then when you look at Lagos, how do you see, when you hear about Lagos, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? When you talk about Lagos, you see it as that hustling, bubbling, that hustling kind of thing. Like you just get things done, you go see, no matter how, when you shall say something, you shall get money, you go shall see one business, right? Whereas when they talk about Ibadan, what do you perceive Ibadan as? You see Ibadan as one cool city, one retirement, like if you just want to relax and just like maybe after working the whole this, I just want to, just like a civil servant state, right? A civil servant city. Is that how you perceive Ibadan? Like Ibadan is not a place like you come and also and do jama, that kind of thing, right? Do you guys understand what I am trying to do now? Like when we talk about Lagos, you see that's the hustling city and this thing. So that's how when you talk about London is like the main capital city of UK. So when you talk about London, of course that is the public place where things are happening and everything. And of course, just like in Lagos, things are just unnecessarily expensive. Unnecessarily. Why is this thing expensive if you don't have answer to it? Why is there traffic? Why is there this one? There is just unnecessary something. You just see two people will start fighting. What caused your fight? Why are you people fighting? When they tell you the reason, say you be like, there's unnecessarily trouble. There's always a new scam in this. Is very unnecessary, because there's actually higher population there. There's high competition there. There's high this thing, because most of the companies, most of the organizations are actually very centered there. When you get to Lagos, you have so many companies, you see banks, you see this. In fact, you can see First Bank here. Before you do small, you see under First Bank, you see like there are a lot of, like, it's very, very populated. Though it's actually a small city, it's very, very populated. So there's high competition, high this thing. So it's more like survival of the fittest. Hey, this thing is going for this thing, who go first take more? If you say people they come, you go increase the price. Who want again, you increase the price, So survival of the fittest. Just like in Ibadan, you say you want this thing, you go say, well, I beg you, I won't go find it in one shop first. Oh yeah, I go give it for 2K. Ibadan people, you go collect 200. You person 15 naira. Oh yeah, can't take 200. Person who want take and 200. Guy, you go take 20 naira. I will go take 5 naira. Do you guys understand what I'm trying to say? But whereas in Lagos, when you say, this thing is up for grab, 10,000 naira, I'll buy. You go increase and 50,000 naira. You see people that will buy 10,000. But in Ibadan, they say, I don't need time, I beg. I won't go shop. Like, do you guys understand what and how I'm actually trying to relate it for you guys to understand? So now Mr. A actually got admission in Unilag, and then Mr. B actually got admission in University of Ibadan. So of course, you know that Mr. A will be like, ah, Lagos, the Aussie and bustling and everything. Whereas Mr. B, you know how Ibadan is now, that kind of thing. Now, person we don't shop before somebody in Ibadan will think of buying anything. That means you don't shop, scatter. The food don't they overflow before they do it. Whereas in Lagos, you will be hungry, but you prefer to ride car, you prefer to take car, you prefer to take. I hope you understand. Basic life is not their priority in Lagos. So now, of course, how do you perceive Unilag? Unilag is actually a good school. How do you perceive University of Ibadan? University of Ibadan is actually a good school. And so I just say that University of Ibadan is like the #1 school in Nigeria, even in Africa. You are free to argue with your keypad. That will not concern me. I'll give it to University of Ibadan. But you know that when you say I graduated from University of Ibadan, you don't even want to know, regardless of the course, the person story, you'll be like, wow, University of Ibadan and everything. But where is University of Ibadan? University of Ibadan is in Ibadan. How is the cost of living in Ibadan? How is life in Ibadan? Life in Ibadan is very cheap. It's like low cost of living. This is one very cool city. Do you guys understand what I'm trying to say? Whereas if I tell somebody I finished from University of Lagos, somebody say, oh wow, University of Lagos, that's nice. Oh, you see, how did you get a competition and everything? You say, Lagos life, that kind of thing. But both of us, Mr. A and Mr. B, they will still graduate. I hope you understand that. But now let's now talk about cost of living. I'll talk about their school fees. Of course, Mr. A is paying more than Mr. B. Cost of living. How much do you think it will actually cost Mr. B to actually spend maybe per year? Even per year for accommodation and everything. Let's remove schools there, right? Let's say they are staying off campus. How much do you think Mr. A will spend per year of being a student of Unilag? You already know the thing. But one small colobo this thing like this, they'll be calling you how much for you. And even at that, you will not even get value for your money. I hope you understand that. Whereas, and for Mr. A, because he's in Lagos, because of traffic, because of how people are condensed in one area, he has to stay very close to the school, extremely close. And even at that, we still have to wake up very early because of traffic. Whereas Mr. B stays in Ibadan. If you know Ibadan very well, Mr. B can be living in Olodo, even in Challenge, even in this thing, and be schooling in UI. He will still wake up 7 o'clock. Maybe get ready 7 o'clock and enter bike or even taxi and still get to UI 8 o'clock because there's no traffic. But now there's always traffic in Bodija. But let's just say even woke up 6:30 and it's coming from that far place, that Challenge, that where far, even Elebu, all those far places, you will still get to school 8 o'clock. Do you guys understand? And you see those far places that I made mention of, you know how much is rent there? You can get rent for, in fact, you get 4 bedroom, you'll be living your life like, guy, I don't make harm. Whereas the person in Lagos, right, is going to Unilag, he might be managing like 10 people in a room just because you have to stay close to the school. And even at that, you have to wake up and go to school and fight for traffic and fight with this one and everything. Whereas the person in UI will just wake up 6:30. I hope you understand. But then if you're in UI, you don't have to go that far before you see an apartment. Of course, you can see nearby. So what I'm trying to say is, sometimes it's not about the city. Because some people feel like, if I go to school here, the school is not accredited, the environment is local, this thing. It is not, sometimes it's not about the environment, it's not about the locality. It is the authenticity or the certification of the school that you are going to there that you should focus on. The town, this thing does not matter to you. Aside that, maybe it's considering crime or anything. So another this thing again, let's look at it again. So let's say Mr. A graduated from Unilag and Mr. B, of course, graduated from UI. Which one do you think will actually get the job faster? Which of it them? Depending on the course they studied, right? So let's say they both study medicine or medical course or anything. Which one do you think, maybe if they want to do internship, or which one do you think we see placement easier? Mr. B. Why? Mr. Lagos is actually congested. Everybody will be fighting for the same. Whereas Mr. B, because of the place he is, even if that particular place is congested, he can still go far within Lagos, within Ibadan, and still go and get his placement and still do whatever it is or whatever it is. But when you talk about pay, which one do you think will actually pay more? Somehow Lagos will pay more because cost of living in Ibadan is actually very cheap. Do you guys understand what I'm trying to compare? But then when Mr. A was in school, when he was in Lagos, he spent a whole lot of money trying to go to school, for his accommodation, for his this one. In fact, if they are doing all this, if they are doing what they used to do in class in handout for 1,000 naira in Ibadan, he can pay up to 5,000 naira. So he spent a whole lot of money when he was in school, Unilag. Whereas Mr. B he shall manage himself. He finished. He did not spend a whole lot of money. Do you guys understand what I'm trying to say? So even if Mr. B actually finished as a graduate of University of Ibadan and is not getting that pay, the thing he no go to pay am because how much will I spend for school? How much will I earn? Whereas Mr. A spent a whole lot of money, so he will have a lot of expectations after all the money I spent in school, after all the time, after all this thing. And again, another thing is because Mr. B was in Ibadan, the process of him studying, there was no stress for him. He would just go from his house to the school to the house. There is no all these gigs, but stay in traffic. Whereas Mr. A, when he's thinking about all the traffic he used to enter to school, the stress, the everything, he'll be Whereas if Mr. B did not even get his dream, at least if he sees something, he not go to pay now. You just okay, I went to school and you not go to pay because he did not spend a whole lot of money trying to get that same degree. And whereas that Mr. B degree is school certification is still higher than Mr. A. Do you guys understand what I'm trying to say? So for the fact that a city is actually bubbling does not mean that maybe the organization or whatever comes out of it is not valuable. Do you guys get? And it does not mean that there is no job opportunity, there is no this thing. So for you to stay in Ibadan, a city like Ibadan, somehow you have to be somehow like a career-wise person. If you're schooling in Lagos, that means you have to be business-oriented. Because you know that anything goes, Lagosians, they will sure want to try a new thing, unlike Ibadan. If the thing is not popular, nobody is going to buy. Nobody. So most popularity introducing new products actually used to come from Lagos. It's when they don't announce and say this thing, that's when Ibadan people now say, I'm more try them now. Do you guys understand what I'm trying to say? So Ibadan is not a perfect place to actually introduce new business, introduce new setting. They will not buy, they will not patronize you. If you go and spend money for restaurants, they will prefer to buy from all these local gutter this thing. Whereas in Lagos, because of how the places are advanced and everything, when you just open an advanced place, you put AC, that will imagine. But in Ibadan, you pay them, make them stay under the sun and buy food and to enter AC and buy and add extra money. People that in Ibadan, 2 people can enter Okada. You get 2 people, they want Okada for 15 naira. Then went there and the guy was showing. I was that was just someone was not there. I thought that's safe to do. 2 people at the same Okada. So somebody can in Ibadan, somebody can because of 10 naira check from here to Magodo. They would try because of 10 naira. Do you guys get? But whereas in Lagos, somebody can say because 1,000 just because of that traffic check. Okay, just bring them. Do you guys understand what I'm trying to say? So sometimes choosing the city you want to stay, choosing the city you want to live, somehow depends on your career path, your type of person, and the job opportunity that should be available there. There's some job opportunity that is dominant in some areas than the other. Just like when you talk about Lagos, what is dominant there? I talk about business, when you want to do business, even if village people they follow you, you go see person go buy from you. No how you get. Another one is civil servants job, but it's very competitive, very very competitive. Then another thing is industry job. Industry are very very popular. Most of these companies and factories, they're actually in Lagos, located in Lagos. So if you all this factory person and everything, Lagos somehow be your best bet. Then when we actually talk about Ibadan, of course we still have a lot of factories in Ibadan, but not compared to Lagos. But then if you are looking for a job, with the way, because Lagos is congested, many people are looking for a job. If you still get to Lagos, I am still going to greet the manager every day. There's no, we still consider, shall come and help us to be booking bottle. because the competition is actually not there. And again, when you actually talk about civil servant work and everything, if they actually post a job opportunity, maybe to work with local government or this in Ibadan, you still have more chances of getting that job in Ibadan than in Lagos, because you understand. But then, so why I'm using this one to analyze it is choosing where you will stay, whether expensive or not. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Sometimes there are some cities that is very expensive, right, for you to stay, maybe tax and everything, but then they are the most beneficial to your career and to your business. Do you understand that? Or to whatever you're doing. Whereas there are some places that are very cheap, very cheap and affordable, but they are not beneficial to what you do. They cannot favor your work or your distance. They don't favor your work. So it's not about just saying cheapest city in UK, this thing costs about this thing, this thing costs about this thing, this one costs about this thing, and then when you get there, the business you want to do, the job you want to do, and everything, you're just looking at it. So what's the point of staying in a cheap city? It's like me, when I was moving, because of my YouTube thing, I wanted to stay in a place that is very cool, calm, no noise. Can you guys see the way we're making videos since there is no noise, there's no anything? So of course, the first house I went to was community house. Well, I went for like this, you'll be hearing Okada. But of course, the house was very cheap, 300k per year. It was very, very cheap. I felt like this thing, I was like the richest in that compound. You know, that type of, it was very cheap. But then it was not favorable for my work. Before I start video, oh my goodness, if you watch some of my videos, you'll be hearing these things there. You know, all this type of sound, you cannot remove it from video. You will hear this one, you shall be hearing this sound. But then when I realized this thing is not favoring my work, I moved to an estate. Of course, the estate is very, very expensive. If I'm watching, pay for this one, pay for that one, pay for that one. But of course, it's serving my work, and that's when I opened more channel, because I'm in a conducive part. And aside that, the estate actually have stable light and everything. Do you guys understand what I'm trying to say? But then if you have to look at it critically, somebody will be like, this girl, why do you come and stay in an expensive estate? You don't see houses of 250, 200, may you stay. Yes, I see them. I feel stay for him, but it not fit in my work. It not fit for my work. Do you guys understand? And that was one of the problems I had when I wanted to move to this estate. Some of my friends said, you are too extravagant. You just want to live that. I said, did you guys understand that I work from home? Like, I need a silent place. I need light. I need this thing. Do you guys understand what I'm trying to say? So sometimes it's not just about where you want to wake up and sleep. If it is where you want to wake up and sleep, you can wake up and sleep in Nigeria. If you stay in the house. Sometimes it's not where you want to wake up and sleep. Sometimes it's about your long time goals, whatever you have in mind, your career path, your business, your whatever. So even if you stay in Lagos, in London, that will favor your work, your career path, your destiny, I think you should stay there. If you know that it will not strive in another city. Sometimes you might feel like you want to establish business and everything. Just like, imagine when you feel like you want to buy a car and you feel like you want to start Uber business, and because London is expensive, you want to move to some local areas in UK. And then you buy the car, you now move to local place in UK. How many people will book your cab? How many people? Even as it stands now, sometimes when I go to Ibadan, right? When I book cab and everything, when me and the Uber guys start conversing, be like, the color for this Ibadan. If you see how much boat is charging for transport in Ibadan, you can hear from where to a year. You check 500 naira. Whereas in Lagos, before you 2.5 don't go for boats. You guys understand what I'm trying to say? So sometimes it's not about the city is cheap, it's about the value it can actually bring to you. I hope you guys understand. So some of the boat drivers, they said there's no traffic, but that pay, imagine going long distance, this thing. Some of those boat drivers actually relocated from Lagos. They was like, if you say now Lagos, 10k, 5k, 2k, that kind, but in Ibadan, because of what is trying to encourage people to actually enter. That same Ibadan, 2 people will enter the same bike. You now say me, I should come and enter. Even as it stands now, when I was in Ibadan, when I stayed in Ibadan, the only time I used to enter boat is maybe I go to the market or I go somewhere and I used to buy big things. That's the only time I used to enter boat. A meeting myself back Okada. Oh yeah, ShopRite, hello, 500, go back 200, 150 money. You carry me 150. I will book boat, wait for boat, and come and pay 1,000, 1,500. It's not possible. Do you guys understand what I'm trying to say? But then in Lagos, bike is restricted. And aside that, because of how they are working, the only time people used to take bike is when there is traffic and everything. Bike is restricted. People take boats more often, very, very well, and because of the safety and everything. But in Ibadan, when somebody will book boat, is it that maybe the person is coming at night, the person is carrying load, the person is carrying family, the person is carrying friends. They don't usually just book boats like that. Unless, or maybe rain is falling. You see all those conditional distance. So it's not about just cheap sitting. So sometimes before you move, you have to like ask yourself, what are my plans? What is my career plans? Am I going to be this? Am I going to be this? Am I going to be that? Am I going to? And sometimes some places you work, right, the pay they give you somehow is based on the cost of living there. Somehow it's based on the cost. That's why I say depending. If you, for example, you want to work as a care assistant in London and then they are paying you like maybe £10, £13, of course you see another place, another cheap city that are paying that same £13. In that scenario, you have to move. But then let's say care job, they're paying you like £16, and then in the other cheap city they're paying you like £10. You might want to stay in London because in that £16, yeah, your rent will be expensive, but then when you take up extra shifts, you actually get more, like take more extra shifts in that same city. You actually take more this time. So another scenario, let's say you're going to study and everything, you know that your money, your pocket not too rich and everything, and then you're looking at London. No, you have to look for a cheap place. So minimum pay in UK, minimum pay is minimum pay everywhere. They cannot pay you less than any amount. Minimum pay is it 10? For instance, it's £10, right? Either £10 or 90 cents. They can't pay you more than that. That's the minimum pay everywhere. But then, of course, some people actually pay more. So the thing, the bottom line of everything is depending on your career path. For some people now, maybe for example, you're actually a dentist. You know, like for example, if somebody open dentist this thing in Ibadan, how many people will patronize the person? Could need a customer. You get. But then if you open your dentist this thing, or if you are working as a dentist in Lagos, of course you see people to come. Even if it's not your personal business, there are some things like maybe they will pay you based on how people is. I don't know how to. Depending on how you will get more customer, that's when they will even use to increase your salary. Let's imagine if they actually employ you as maybe as a salesperson in a shop, and then you are selling market, and it's just one or two person that used to come once in a while. What do you think will happen? That's the salary you keep receiving in the next 10 years because the sale is not really coming. The employer cannot be paying you from their pocket. It's not possible. So that's why I said everything still boils down to your career, to what you think, to everything. So even when people say Lagos is expensive, London is expensive, think about it. In favor of your career, in favor of your school, in favor of you on the long run. This your career, you go thrive here, you go thrive better, stay. Just like in Lagos, if you guys notice, most celebrities, right, most actors, most this thing, where did they stay? They stay in Lagos. Yeah, they keep complaining they don't like Lagos, but that is where their career actually thrive the most. That's because if somebody wants to contact them for a job, most companies, that's because most companies is in Lagos. Most companies will contact them from Lagos to give them job. Most companies in Lagos will contact them for all this their shoots, all this their this thing and everything. But imagine somebody that is staying in Ondo now, and then they need to come for a shoot. Before of course you have to add logistics, you have to add this one and everything. Why am I worried? We don't see person for a year. Do you guys understand? And that is why these celebrities are not relocating outside Nigeria, because their work actually thrive more in Nigeria. And that's why somebody said, when you know you are for this, why you no travel? Because I know my work actually thrive more for me being in Nigeria. Do you guys understand what I'm trying to say? Most of you say when you ask them, Lagos or this, they don't like Lagos. They want to leave Lagos, but because of their work. And when you leave Lagos, if your work is not paying, what else are you doing again in this thing? Of course, we live because of work now. It's not work that is making us to live. It's not from work we pay our rent. It's not work we pay our feeding. So that's why you actually see people like these celebrities, they just stay in Lagos. So the only thing they do is they just move to maybe all these expensive parts, all these islands, all these that are lands, can you call these are Lekki, this one, that one, and start paying rents. And that's because they know that when they stay there, they have access to more job opportunity, more this one, more that one, more everything. But of course, Lagos is expensive. Yes. When you come to Ibadan, you see Lagos is expensive, but then that's what favors their work. So it's not about just cheap city, depending on whether you want to study, whether you want to do this thing, whether you want to do that one. Whereas me, I am not staying in Lagos. I am not staying in Lagos. I'm just inside one corner in this. I am making money from my house. Do you guys now understand the difference now? That's because my own type of work, I can stay in my house and be making my money. I don't have to come outside. But then they have to come outside for their work. They have to go out to go and look for job, for people to shoot this and everything. But me, I don't have to come outside. So that's why I feel like regardless of the place, just look for one place that you shall stay inside, as long as the place is siren. Do you guys understand the difference I'm trying to make? So sometimes it's not about a place is cheap, a place is expensive. An expensive place can be the most comfortable for you. It could be the best for your career. It could be the best for your business. Like for example, if you want to start selling African food and everything, start selling African food. Of course, because London is the capital city. In capital city, we always have a lot of Nigerians, a lot of Africans. You want to start selling African food, to start selling, and then you now went to look for all these unpopular cities in UK. Who will be buying the food from you? Who will be buying the food for you? That maybe they're just like two Nigerians here, three Nigerians, maybe you're even the only Nigerian. Now you boy want they say egusi food soup for. Now you boy want they say egusi soup for. So London is going to be your best bet because we have a lot of Nigerians there. We have a lot of Africans there. Do you guys understand what I'm trying to say? So depending on your career goal, depending on your business, depending on your distance, depending on your target audience, and that's why I used to tell people, before you leave Nigeria, before you travel out, have a plan, have a goal. Not like I just want to jackpot. It is not about that. It is not about that. Tailor your distance. What is your long time goal? Do you want to work as a career person, as a care worker? Do you want to have a side business? Do you want to have this as a distance, as a that one, as a clinical, as a distance? Though there is delivery, you can always do delivery, but most times when you're starting, sometimes it's always best when you actually start with people around you. Now people around you go make it this thing. So bottom line is, depending on your career, depending on your distance, it's not really about cheap city. That don't will favor you. I was staying in a cheap house. I don't stay house of 100k, 200k, 300k. The house no favor me. He no pay me. He no pay my business. And I moved to an estate, millions of naira. And that is when I now started making money. You see the juju behind it. I was staying in 100k house, 200k house and everything. Nothing. They struggle with my distance because even me my mental health, they balance. And then I moved to an estate, paying millions. I think now I'll pay my rent. And then I am making money even without stepping out of my house. So just imagine if I stayed, cheapest house, the house is cheap. I stayed there. I will still be there. You will not be watching me. I will not have opened this channel because I've made some part of immigration channel in my food channel, in my old videos, my lifestyle this thing. Nobody watched it. No, even when I wanted to start this channel, I was like, I've made some of this immigration channel before in my lifestyle. Nobody watched it. So what's the chance that people will watch it? That one will just say, open it. Do you guys understand what I'm trying to say now? So sometimes it is not about the house is cheap, the house is this one, the house is not be all cheap thing they favor person. So just bring out your this thing. And at that time I was moving from one house to another. If you follow my lifestyle channel, you guys will see the video. In like last year, I moved like 5 times. People were saying in a spiritual, but in fact, it got to a time I was like, when I say this thing as spiritual, no talk. Because the thing is, what I'm looking for, I will not see it. It is when I pack in 1 week after that. So this thing, so they make noise. I don't know. At the time, I wanted to be like saying as spiritual, low talk. Because our person go, they move almost how many times in a year. But then I stopped telling people I was moving. I just talked to myself. Tell me, is this what you want? Is this what will favor you? Is this what will help your business? I said yes. So are they paying your rent for you? Is anybody paying your rent for you? Nobody. So why are you bothered about their opinion? It's my money. Like I came to Toro where they're telling me what to spend or not, and I took that bold step. I took the risk. They used to say if you don't have times 2 of something in your account, don't spend it. I don't have the times 2, but I had like the quarter. I know say if I give her like maybe 500k next as I beg, just to leave me. She will still leave me for like 1 month. I just took that huge risk, very very huge risk. I took that very very huge risk. I moved there, paying millions of naira. Yeah. So now that you are answering because they told me, you see that my former house. If you know yearbook, yeah, me I know waiting cause am. Aside that, hey. They will jump inside the fence. They'll come and steal phone. Come and steal this one. You cannot even sleep at night because you're always thinking of this one, thinking of that one. So sometimes, like I said, a place is cheap does not mean that it's safe. A place is cheap does not mean it is not safe. A place is cheap does not mean that the schools there is not valuable. A place is cheap does not mean that does not just mean anything. So everything, just like the school I was in Russia, Clement State University, before Russia actually took it from Ukraine, is one of the lowest states in Ukraine, like with very low cost of living, and that school is like number 1 in Russia. Like that school is the best. Like if somebody actually tell me I am from Clement State University, I know that yes, you sat down, you read your book, you read with your head. Nobody said they did dash your mark. I know that yes, you read with your brain. But that school is actually in a very very local, like local place, something like that. I hope you understand what I'm going to say. So, and then when I was there, that's what to buttress this point. When I was there, that's what am I saying? When I was there, that's when I actually started selling African food and everything. But then I was selling to how many Nigerians? They were limited because they were not much. But then, assuming I was in Moscow, Russia now, I was the same customer. So that's what I said. So moving to a cheap city or not, you're not just moving to the city to be waking up, to be sleeping and waking up. So compare your so if you know you the career type, maybe you work as a carer, as a normal employee or working for this thing, of course you can actually consider moving to a cheap city. You get, but if you know maybe you're going to be doing business and maybe you're that. Laying my day on to after I've tell you people it's one of those things, but it's better. It's very better than my former house, and so that's what I'm trying to say. I know I've talked a lot in this video, and please, if you're going to leave it in the comment section that this girl you talk too much, just know that I'm going to dash you blocking. You are going to be blocked because I talk too much. You don't need that information. Does not mean other people do not need it, because this is me sharing my experience with you, and that's what I've just said. I explained myself, relating myself like I was in that situation. I saw cheap house. I saw triple times 10 of the amount I used to pay. I swear, and I was like, how will you leave cheap house and go for expensive house? How? Who does that? Who does that? But then when I had to compare, so that is why I made the example of Mr. A and Mr. B, and I actually made the example of myself and when I was in that state of dilemma, and that is why I am here in front of you guys. This is the house I'm spending millions for, and can you now see it actually like what it's at the end of the day, without stepping out of my money, without stepping out of my house, just to attend to one person. I don't cash out 300k just to attend to one person. Just say, okay, what do you want? Okay, are you interested? I don't cash out 300k that I pay as rent in my former house for 1 year, that I was struggling with this thing. Just, are you interested? And of course with time it will actually increase. Can you see? Can you guys see? So imagine if I was staying in that former house, noise, this one, that one, I cannot sit down and think and bring about this thing. So it is not about cheap house, it is not about cheap city, it is the value it will actually bring to you. But if you know that you just want to work as a care worker, you just want to work as a teacher, you just want to, so just compare it. I have an idea of the tax, the whatever it is, and this thing. And for now, I don't really have information about the jobs that is really popular there. But of course, like I said, minimum wage everywhere is £9. So regardless of the this thing you're doing, everything. So of course, if you see care work, there's care work everywhere. There is, I see this thing everywhere. But just like there are some cities that is more popular for IT. So in my subsequent videos, I'm talking about jobs that are popular in some cities. So that brings us to the end of today's video. So if you know you've actually learned something, don't forget to give me a thumb up, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and yeah, I know this video is too long and everything, but sometimes it's not about me just doing copy and paste from Google, coming here to just talk. Sometimes I have to like tell you the reality, and you guys know I like to relate it to my life, relate it to my experience and everything. Oh, say that place is too expensive, now you didn't believe there. You know where the thing in they say for myself, you know whether like, so sometimes just do whatever you feel like will favor you, favor your business and everything. So guys, if you like this video, you know what to do. You can click the subscribe button, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for watching, and bye. I don't get thumbnail since cheapest city in UK. So guys, I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for watching, and bye. See you soon.